Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the world of Azamara. We are so excited to be here with all of you today, and I really want to thank the team at Montecito Village Travel and all the amazing travel advisors that you all work with. I have to tell you, during this pandemic, the travel advisors are our heroes. We love them. We've always loved them, but the last year and a half has been very, very tough. And having your travel advisor work with you to book you, rebook you, and just take care of you. They do everything and even pack your bags sometimes. But I am joined today by Heike, our hotel director from Greece, straight from Greece, which is really, really exciting. So I couldn't be more thrilled to have Heike here. And we are going to explore Azamara with you. So Heike, if you want to say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here. So great. I'm looking forward for a nice evening here. For me, it's evening. For you guys, it's probably...
It's 8 p.m. for Heike. So right. we're still on our coffee here. So we're going to turn off our cameras, and then we are going to walk you through the world of Azamara. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about our healthy return to cruising. So we have been working very, very hard behind the scenes with our Healthy Sail panel in collaboration with Royal Caribbean Group and NCL's panel to enhance our safety measures, sanitation, behind the scenes, everything that we've been doing. So we are so excited to be able to actually announce our return to service, which will be in Greece on August 28th. We have made the decision to require vaccines for both our guests and our crew, because that is the safest way to sail in this environment. And as we return to sailing, things will continuously change and evolve. So please work with your travel advisor that you work with, and they will update you on all the things that will be happening on board Azamara. So our three beautiful ships right now are in Glasgow, Scotland. The Azamara Quest is the mothership, joined by the Azamara Journey and the Azamara Pursuit. And what's so exciting to be able to have Heike with us today is Heike is currently in Athens, and she is headed back to Glasgow on, I think, Saturday, Heike? So if you could just talk a little bit about your experience of going back and forth while the ships have been just resting until we're able to set sail again.
Yeah, so these pictures obviously were there. This is from when I came last January, and I stayed until April. And we were a tiny little group, and as Laurie said, Quest is the mothership, so we all lived on Quest, and we were just about 80 crew members. But now when I'm coming back, it's way plus 200 and increasing by every day. And Pursuit is slowly gonna be on her own with plumbing system and everything. And so we have Richard as a hotel director on Quest, and as I get there, of course, first a little quarantine, and then I'll be on Pursuit and Journey later on. So we get the ships ready, we get them pretty. We're gonna plan, of course, to go to Glasgow for a little, well, actually quite a major refurbishment. Some good stuff coming on, so please stay tuned for all of that. And it's exciting, and it's even so exciting to see my colleagues again after so long.
And the great thing is, what makes Azamara so special is our amazing destinations, but it's the secret sauce of our amazing onboard family. And we've been connected with our onboard family during this entire pandemic, doing events and so forth. And it's just, that's what makes Azamara so special. So Heike, thanks again for joining me today as we introduce the advisors and the consumers to what Azamara is about. So I am thrilled to be able to say that we are starting to sail late summer on round trip 7-night Greece intensive itineraries starting August 28th through October 2nd. And we have some fantastic itineraries to walk you through here. We're going to be sailing round trip Athens, going to Cyprus, Rhodes, Crete, Santorini, and Mykonos. I've been to Greece about 7 times. I'm not as lucky as Heike, who's actually lives there right now, but these itineraries are fantastic. And a little bit later in the presentation, we are going to explore Greece with you, the food, the culture, and the people. There are a lot of different cruise brands out there, but what makes Azamara so special is the amount of time that we spend in port. It allows you the opportunity to explore further, travel deeper, connect people to people, people with cultures, people with themselves. We have immersive itineraries. We have late night stays and overnights. A late night stay means we stay after 8 p.m. A lot of our itineraries have 2 and 3 nights in a destination. So it really is your floating hotel at sea. We offer night touring, and we have a focus on country intensive itineraries. So as I mentioned that we are a hotel at sea, we also are a more inclusive product. So we include gratuities. We include complimentary bottled water, specialty coffees, teas, complimentary wine, spirits, cultural evenings, shuttle service to and from port communities, and so much more. So our 4 beautiful ships sail all over the world, all 7 continents. We have some amazing, amazing itineraries. And as I mentioned, our focus is late night stays and overnights. And I'd like for Heike to share some of her experiences with these amazing destinations, whether you're in Rio, Thailand, and so forth. What's it like, Heike, when you get to stay so late in port?
And I'm glad you're not asking me for my favorite one, because there are so many. And in fact, we go to some metropolitan cities that people usually travel on land because there's never enough time on the ship. And this is exactly what we wanted to change. You have that time now. You have, sometimes it's 2 full days. There are some even cruises, they're gonna come to, for example, in Israel. We'll have 4 days in Israel. It all depends on where we're going, but you have that time. You don't feel you have to rush back in the late afternoon. You can stay outside. You can enjoy some culinary experiences, some local food as well. You could do a night excursion that we book as well. And even some of the places that we stay late, I think it's the best restaurant in town, because if you are anchored, for example, even in Sorrento, Amalfi, anywhere, or in Greece, Santorini, and you sit on the ship and look at that backdrop, no better restaurant.
So true. And when I look at this picture in St. Petersburg, if you could describe the experience of us sailing up the river.
Yeah, so there are some destinations that, number one, not very big ships really can go up the river and can go all the way to downtown. And there are quite a few examples that our ship is about, it's a small ship, is about the maximum size that you could sail all the way up. One is St. Petersburg. We are docking so close you can see and walk to the Hermitage from the ship. Beautiful docking spot there. Then we have in Bangkok, we would go all the way to Klong Toi, all the way up the river, where many of the big ships, they have to park down, which is about a 3.5-hour bus drive. And so, of course, you got to take an excursion. You can never wander off yourself. But with us in Bangkok, we have a shuttle to downtown. You can go during the day, you can do a trip, you can go back in the evening, do dinners. And then, of course, there is Sevilla, which is the other photo on the top right there, which is an unbelievable sailing in there. And you will need at least 2 days there as well. There's so many destinations that you can see, so many tours that you can do, or even a flamenco show at night, or just a walk in the beautiful old town. And then Norway, that is probably, I hope everyone almost knows Captain Johannes, but that is his favorite destination. And that is also a spot that, yes, bigger ships can go to Norway, to the fjords, but not to all the ports that we are going. We're going really trying to do different ports just because we have that chance of the size. Bordeaux, amazing. Great that we have the map up here as well, so you see how far up the river we go. So we dock in downtown Bordeaux. I remember one time we had an amazing evening where we're going to talk about it later again, with live music on the deck, or we had live music up on the pool deck, and people were just lounging next to the ship listening to our music. We were just like a little hotel docked right in downtown, walking distance zero, basically. Beautiful. And then keep in mind, you don't lose time with driving to and from cities back to the ship. Here's more from Bordeaux. You see the ship, how it's docked there on the lower right picture. And then in general, Bordeaux, again, so much to see. So absolutely worth staying 2 days there. It is the city itself, but it's also the wine region, lower left one. So much to do.
I have so many itineraries that I want to do in 2022. Wow. And then when you look here in Seville in Spain, I love Spain, I love the food, and we're docked in the city center. This is just so fantastic. Where do the other ships dock?
So, you would have to go from Cadiz, basically. That's where the ship, the bigger ships dock, and then they take a bus ride, a good hour to get to Seville. Now, this Plaza de España right here, and on a side note, I studied in Spain, in Sevilla, and it is one of my absolute favorite cities. But that is 10 minutes walking from the ship. Now, Sevilla, exactly. What a navigational treat you're gonna get if you sail up that river. So truly, Azamara is the largest ship able to go up the Guadalquivir River. But what is even more amazing, about a mile before we're docking, the ship turns around and goes backwards. That's the simple reason. So once we get going again after a couple of days, it's certainly easier than to turn around on the way down. It's fantastic. Now, we have had at some point, I remember, depending on the tides, we came up, perfect, upper right picture, we came up the river at night and the locals came to greet us. I think it was almost after midnight, and it's very friendly, late life city. Again, Plaza de España here as well.
That has to be so cool to be able to go backwards through the river. Oh my gosh, wow.
And the captains love it. They almost fight over that itinerary.
What I love about Azamara is our country intensive itineraries where you could do one country at a time. So can you tell us a little bit about some of these hidden gem ports, and which one is your favorite country intensive itinerary? I know you're going to kill me for asking you this question.
Exactly, I will. Wow. Anyone who knows me a little bit on a personal side knows that aside of working on board, I love traveling. As soon as I get a holiday, I travel, and I travel country intensive. And I thought that is just amazing that we're doing that with a ship. Now, I will not be able to tell you what is my favorite, but each of them have really something specific, because guests will probably first book because of the ports that they may know from before, but then usually the takeaway is from each of these cruises that they're amazed of those ports that they have never heard of. And that gives you the entire feeling of a country, the diversity. You have the metropolitan cities, you have ports that probably are better for the countryside, you have beaches in certain countries like Greece, and in Norway there is so much activities to be done. Iceland, yeah, that is a hit amongst a lot of guests. So, but no, I cannot tell you my favorite. Don't ask me to decide that.
Well, the nice thing is we could do back-to-back cruises. You could do, wow, up to about 157 days and not even repeat a port. But now we're going to go into Greece and talk a little bit about your country, where you are. We have some amazing itineraries. Here's one for June 17th, 10 nights, round trip Athens, and going to these marquee ports that I love so much. So we have 10 nights, 9 ports, and 3 late night stays, which is fantastic. Can you talk a little bit about the food and what your favorite locations are?
Yeah, and back to also the Greek itinerary, the great part is there. Even if you have been in some of these ports already or they were part of another cruise, there is so much more to see on each of them, like Volos. Most people probably know Volos because the tours are going to Meteora, to these beautiful monasteries on top of these unbelievable rocks. How they ever built that is fantastic. But Volos itself is a beautiful city too. And same in Crete, Chania, so much to offer all around. In the south, there is nature. In the north are more the towns. I could talk about each of them. So it's a great variety, but even if people have done it already, even Mykonos and Santorini, there is so much alternative. I like that cruise because it has a little bit of Turkey as well, and of course Greece. So it's very nice. Food. Well, Greece is great with food because it's the climate and the freshness, and you know, seriously, the most simple and most known dish in Greece, which is the Greek salad. And you probably have seen that on a menu in all around the world. But I really seriously think there is no better one than in Greece. And that's simply because the vegetables are so tasty, so fresh. The olives and the oil is simply unique, and that's what makes the taste. So every time before I leave on a contract, I'll get one. And for sure, that's the first dish I have when I come back. Some amazing drinks, ouzo. Now lately, people make very fancy cocktails with ouzo too. So beaches, probably, yeah. I love the beaches, and lately I've been even in the mountains in Greece, which was fabulous as well. But beaches in Greece are the best. I don't know. It's very difficult. I've been all over the world, but they are pretty unbeatable from all around the world.
Oh my God, and the sunsets in Santorini. Talk a little bit about Santorini. That's one of my favorite places to go to.
Yeah, it is. It's so unique. I even have a lot of Greek friends that literally they go once a year just for a long weekend because it is very famous amongst tourists, but also amongst the Greeks itself because it is so unique. Just how it sits there, the beauty is unlimited. Now the sunset, yes, there's that famous little town at the very end of the island, which called Ia. So that is something you guys have to promote to your customers to make sure not to ever lose the sunset from Ia.
Oh, and this shot is just spectacular. Ooh.
Oh, thank you. I was there in June, which was a bit weird. You know, it was obviously part of the pandemic, and in June, Greece opened up for a couple of months for a light little tourism. So I went there, and it was very different, but I loved it. Yes, it was no crowds. I hope it's never going to happen again, but yet it was very unique to feel a lot more flair from the locals.
This itinerary is fantastic on the Azamara Pursuit, October 27th, which, ow, that's my anniversary. I think I need to go on that one. 8 nights, round trip Athens, which I love because I love Turkey, and I've been to Ephesus about 5 times, which is just an amazing temple to explore. And every time I've gone back, I've been able to see so much. So if you could talk a little bit about Ephesus, because I know you've been there with our Amazing Evening, which is one of our special themed events that we do only on Azamara. And it's priceless. It's just once in a lifetime type of experience. We do it on every voyage 7 nights or longer.
Yeah, they are unique. They are very unique, and they are events that cannot be booked anywhere else online. So that makes a guest feel really, really special. This particular event in Ephesus here. Now, whoever has been in Ephesus, just to explain, there are 2 theaters. One which is huge, that is being used for main events and concerts, including Bocello, and everyone has been there. And the other one is this theater that holds up to about 800 guests. Perfect for us. So when we start planning that and we wanted to do something special, the time when we went there the first time, it was actually the first event ever after 2,000 years that was held there. And the representative from Kushadasi came and he announced it, and I still get goosebumps. Now the acoustic, you probably, maybe some guests have been already in similar older theaters, but it is outstanding. It is a night to remember, very special.
This is another great itinerary. I've always wanted to go to Egypt. I went to Israel a couple of years ago on Azamara, and it was fantastic. And it was actually, when I went on board, I think it was about 5 years ago, it was the first Azamazing evening in Ashdod at a Roman amphitheater, and it was spectacular. So if you could talk a little bit about Egypt, because I know you've been there, I have not, so I'm jealous.
Yeah, Egypt and Israel, that itinerary, you know, I started working at sea in 1994, and for the first summer season, that was about very similar itinerary like that. And in fact, I suggested to do something similar because it is a superb itinerary. Alexandria and Port Said. So obviously the guests are leaving from Alexandria, and that's when they go to see the pyramids and come back. And then the next day, Port Said, there are other excursions to be done, half-day excursions. Here, yeah, me in Egypt. And that was actually when I took my team on a tour, because I feel that, yes, we're all busy, but it's important for us that we also see at times what guests see, so we can help them to decide and suggest and talk about it.
And we know there's a lot of chaos right now in Israel, and the wonderful thing about being on a ship is we're closely monitoring the situations that are happening in every destination that we go to. So when you're on one of Azamara voyages, if something is not going well in one of the destinations, we can go somewhere else. So we just want to reiterate that we will only go to a destination when it is safe.
Yeah, this is something that I always say to the guests as well. It's actually a good feeling, because you can plan a vacation and remain excited instead of just having to cancel it. And I think most of us, of course, went through the last year with that. But that's the good thing with being on a cruise ship, but also being as flexible as Azamara is. I can vote for that. It's not every cruise line that is so flexible in tweaking and twisting itineraries, and not only for situations that are as bad as Israel. Our captains, they look at the weather forecast, and when we were planning that white night in Santorini, and it actually looks like it's gonna rain and we're gonna blow away, if there is a possibility, we'll switch ports, so we'll make everything smoother. Because happy guests, happy crew, happy everybody.
Oh, I totally agree on that. I was on board a couple of years ago, and weather was not going so well, and we were going to miss one of the ports, and Captain Johannes just rerouted us, and we went to, I think we went to Turkey instead. And what was great was we had another destination to go to, and that's what our clients are looking for, is to be able to explore, and they don't always want a day at sea, so we went somewhere else, which was fantastic. Our itinerary planner is amazing, Mike Palace, and he specially curates all of our voyages, And he also looks at the bucket list world events, whether it's Carnival in Rio, the British Open, the military tattoo in Edinburgh, or the Grand Prix in Monaco. And I think you've been twice, right?
Yes, I was, and since I supposed to, I will go on Pursuit, and I see Pursuit is going again. I'm happy again. I mean, that Grand Prix, first I thought once you've done it once, it is the ambience more than even the race. Some people would say, oh, I'll see that much better from the TV. But no, it is that whole ambience that you get together with it. So ships are obviously anchored. There is only one chartered ship chartered by the racetrack, but other than that, all the cruise ships are at anchor, and we tender in, and the guides are picking up the guests that have booked a racetrack. Some we have pre-race or the final race, or we have even a 2-ticket pre-race and final, and that's what many people actually go for. So we'll make sure that we get the guests off on time, we tender them out, they get brought to the racetrack, and Azamara makes sure to get really good seats. It's you basically see from where you're sitting if there's any racetrack pros, but you see a whole length when they come out of the tunnel, and these cars make a lot of noise, and then a strong curve. So it is special. It's really something to put on a bucket list, and even for people that say it's maybe too crowded, it is super well organized. I can only recommend it.
And the great thing is you could buy the tickets through us too, so we arrange everything for you. Parent Golf is an amazing partner for us, and we've worked with them for, close to 10 years. And we offer 70 different courses in 23 countries. So if you are looking for a golf cruise, you want to go on Azamara. But now what I want to talk about is our Amazing evenings have been altered, and they will start again in April of 2022. But in the meantime, when we start sailing on August 28th, something really cool that we're going to be doing is our destination celebrations. Heike, I understand that you have been very involved in planning these. So can you describe a little bit about what these cultural evenings will be on board?
Yeah, and I was so pleased that Madrid, that's the lady that is really working on it 24/7, that she reached out, because obviously with everything that happened last year, we were not sure what are we going to do, and we didn't want to lose that opportunity either. And there is a lot of planning involved, very detailed everything. So we said until further notice, and now we know that things get a better overview, that is going to be until the beginning of next year. We didn't want to give up on these events, so we decided we're going to plan and get these events on board, get them to the guests. Now, some guests might actually say, this is brilliant because we don't need another bus ride. Whatever it will be, but I think that every single event that we have planned and is going to be done in 2 show times, we'll advise the guests. They have a choice of times and everything, of course, but again, very unique performers. Some of the performers are also those that we would use once we move out again and about in a different venue. Now, for example, on the left, the picture, the duo, the violinist duo, they have created basically songs, a repertoire only for Azamara. So again, it will stay very unique. We will then, not only with the musical part, we will dress up the deck. Some of the places will have very special local decorations, and we will tailor the food, the drinks, and everything to that local experience.
And that is fantastic. As you mentioned, to have it on board is very, very cool. A couple of years ago, we were supposed to go to the opera in Italy, and the weather wasn't permitting. And Philip was our hotel director at the time. And what we did was we brought the opera to the Quest instead. And we had 2 different showings, and it was just fabulous. Another special event is our White Night, our evening under the stars. This is one of our signature events. We have one on, again, every 7-night or longer voyage. Most of our voyages are longer than 7 nights. And it is just such a highlight. Everyone dresses up in white. We bring in the culture of the destination on board, and I've got to just show some of these pictures. And Heike, I just love when you're serving us and you're dancing with us. It's just a highlight for all of our guests.
Yeah, I agree. It is my absolute favorite night. And I think many of my colleagues, and yes, the guests are always saying, but you work so hard to set it up and break it down. But because the vibe is so good and so positive, we just have a lot of fun doing these evenings. And that's why, when I mentioned before, we look at weather, that evening has a big priority in our planning, because it's just a fantastic night. Now, of course, if we can't run away from the weather, we'll move it inside. The evening is happening either way.
The food, the music, the dancing is fantastic. And, you know, when we look at our Azamara family and we look at the guests on board and the bonding that transpires, I look through these pictures, I recognize some of the guests, but Heike, I know that whether people are following you through social media and the friendships that have developed throughout the years, but if you could just explain a little bit about that feeling on board.
Yeah, it's something that is unique. I am even in touch with many of, also from those pictures, guests throughout this last year, because we got to know each other. We care for each other. We're happy to see each other once it happens again. I think now everyone is super excited. Like on the top left, that picture was actually from a world journey. So we spent 102 days together. That was beautiful. Then we have hosting dinners when you see the rest of the pictures. And some of them are some serial Azamarians, I should say. They keep coming back over and over again. And some guests, they don't even look at the itinerary anymore, and they talk to each other. That's another thing. They make friendship amongst them, and they talk to each other, which cruise can we go together? So when that embarkation happens and they come across the gangway, it is lovely to see repeat guests. Now, of course, the first-time cruisers, the same thing, because they feel it after 2-3 days. They say that's just a real warm feeling on board. And it's the crew that makes it. There is this bond amongst us, and what we do for the guests when it comes to events, we do that for the crew as well. They're equally special. Happy crew, happy guests. We do things together as well. Now, of course, that is Christmas, but imagine that there are about 45 to 50 different nationalities amongst the crew. So we'll have so many Independence Days to celebrate. And here's New Year's Eve. Now, each ship every year goes to different New Year's Eve destinations, and they are special. I highly recommend, in general, the holiday cruise and New Year's Eve, because we put a lot of planning, a lot of effort there. We have even a lot of solo travelers come out because they just feel they're part of the big family. Fireworks, they vary, of course, from places we go. We go to highlights like Rio, we go to Sydney, but we also had some surprises. I remember once we went Aruba and they put down a 15-minute amazing firework. So it's wonderful.
And when you talk about a repeat guest, close to 50% of our guests are repeat. Our average age is about 64. We have a loyal following. So our heart, our soul is our onboard family. And I've been in this industry a long time, and I love them all. They make you feel special. So now that we've explored some of the amazing itineraries, I want to walk you all through our 4 beautiful ships: the Journey, the Quest, and the Pursuit. We hold 700 guests, and we have 408 amazing crew members on board. So this is our, when you walk on board, This is our hotel lobby. We have our land discovery area. We have guest relations. You walk upstairs and you go up to Mosaic Cafe, which is one of my favorite spots. By day 2, they know Miss Lori wants a soy latte with 2 Splenda. When I come back after a day of exploring, they know I either want a cup of tea or a glass of wine to catch up with friends. Over here towards the bottom left is our living room area. That's on deck 10. It's a highlight spot. The view is amazing. We have wine and tapas every afternoon from 4 to 7. We also have dancing in the evening, which is fantastic. Now the food on board. The food on board is fantastic. Thank God there is a gym, because I love to eat and experience the different venues on board. We have our patio, which is casual indoor outdoor dining for lunch and dinner. We have Windows Cafe, which is our open dining, but now we'll be serving everyone. And we also do different theme nights. We have an Indian night, we have an Italian night, we have a seafood night. It's fantastic. I know the Indian night is one of our most popular. We have 2 specialty restaurants. Prime C is our steak and seafood restaurant. Aquilina is Italian. And then our main dining room is Discoveries. It's open seating. We have lots of tables for 2, and it's fantastic. What I love too is one time I was in Israel and I was with a friend and they wanted rugula, which is a fantastic pastry. And the chef made rugula just for my friend, and I love that. So whatever we can do to exceed your expectations, we're gonna do it. The Den is a great gathering spot, and we have this on the Pursuit and the Quest, and the Journey is going to go through dry dock before she sets sail again, and it's fantastic. Now, our accommodations are wonderful. I wish that I had one of our beds at home right now because I'm not sleeping that well, and our mattresses are so comfortable. Our sheets, our linens, but we've got the top suites, we've got our spa suites, and my favorite is the Club Continent suite. Our suites go first, so we sell from the top to the bottom, and our verandas are very, very spacious. Now, our offer right now is buy one guest, get the second guest at 60% off, which is a phenomenal value. And it's also phenomenal value, as Heike was mentioning, for our solo guests. We do get a lot of solo travelers. I remember a couple of years ago, I traveled with my mom, and I thought my mom had boyfriends because she would get all these notes in her stateroom inviting her to dinner. So we want our solo travelers to feel special. It's a safe environment as you travel the world. And for attending this presentation today, in addition to buy one, get the second guest is 60% off. It's not on every voyage, but it's on a lot of our voyages. We're also offering an onboard credit. Now, I mentioned that we're a more inclusive product, so you can spend this onboard credit on excursions. You could spend it in the specialty dining, because if you're in a suite, specialty dining is included. If you're not in a suite, it's a $30 cover charge per person. In addition, today we opened our newest baby, the Azamara Onward, which is our 4th ship, and she is set sail. I can't talk this morning. Set to sail May of 2022. 22 new itineraries: Greece, Turkey, Black Sea, some fantastic itineraries. And we're launching a special promotion with our new baby. It is 60% off the second guest, but we're also offering an Experience More package where you will get a $300 shore excursion credit, unlimited Wi-Fi for 1 device, and an upgraded premium beverage package for 2. So you'll work with your travel advisor. They'll find you the best value, the best itinerary, but we do have these promotions available for you. Now, we want you to feel confident in booking with us, so we have a program which is called Cruise with Confidence. And that gives you up to 48 hours to change your mind if something happens. You can get a 100% future cruise credit, or if the price changed, if it's outside of final payment, we will refund you. If it's inside of final payment, we'll give you an onboard credit. we do recommend booking early. There is pent-up demand. We are seeing the spikes in booking. So work with your favorite travel advisor and get that dream destination booked. So what I'd like to do now is open this up to any questions, and I think Heike and I are gonna come back on camera.
Yeah, same here. Hello, everyone. A couple of questions. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. The fact that you can sail into Bordeaux and some of those other locations, Seville, is pretty fascinating. I, for one, happened to be able to do the sailing into St. Petersburg one time on another ship that's small like yourselves, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been a part of on board a ship. It's like the excitement and the fact that people were all on the top deck. Everyone was looking out over their balconies and whatnot as we sailed away. It was just like the energy was palpable. So I know that I could only imagine what it felt like going into Bordeaux or those other locations you mentioned. I bet it was amazing. So any questions? Put them in the question box for us today, and we'll get those answered for you. I do see one here about reservations for dinner. Can you explain how reservations work in the restaurants, and when people can make those reservations in advance of sailing or whatnot?
So the reservations for the specialty restaurants you can do when you get on board. Right now, our systems can't handle advanced reservations, but down the line, we will be able to accommodate that. It's very easy to make a reservation. We try to accommodate everyone. And then the dining in the main dining room, Discoveries, is open seating.
And I want to add to that probably the question also comes up because of the pandemic situation. And at the beginning, we thought we have to take reservations, but we keep adjusting to the rules that been changing weekly. And I'm sure you see that as well, especially by CLIA in Europe and CDC in the United States. So we'll make it obviously as free as we can do. But yeah, for now, that's exactly what Laurie said. I hope we're going back to where we were before.
Yeah, and we're following the intel from the local governments and the safety that they're guiding us in. So we're just being very, very connected there.
Another question here is about, are there any other destinations or ports that you did not mention today in terms of, very, very unique small ports that you can sail into that you guys haven't been to yet, or thinking that I've heard rumors of sailing into, or can you elaborate on that question?
The one thing I will say is Mike Palace is always looking at unique destinations. And when you look at river cruising, Azamara is similar, where we get so close in those ports and so forth. But unique destinations, I'll let Heike take that one on, because I have not been all over the world. I think I need to get a job on board, Heike. Will you hire me?
Sure, immediately. When that question came up, my head just went all over the globe. But what is new for Azamara now is South Africa. Yes, the Quest has done it, but they did it actually from the East Coast, and Pursuit is going to go down the West Coast. So there are some new ports, and one of my absolute favorite port of the new itinerary is Namibia. It's gorgeous. I've spent quite a bit of time there. It's beautiful. And then all the South African ports. Now I'm a safari fan, so you can do pre or post vacation down there. I can only recommend doing that once you fly that far. Other than that, I know that we have some new Greek isles that we're going in some of the itineraries. Look out for Syros, amazing place. Amorgos. Don't know if anyone knows the movie The Big Blue. Now it's a favorite movie. It was about, the competition of diving deep without any equipment. That's been done in Amorgos.
And you know, when you mentioned South Africa, Africa is doing very, very well for us, and we partner with Montecito. Our land programs are fantastic. We can customize excursions for you. We can do private journeys. So we will customize a vacation.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you both so much. Thank you, Heike, for joining us all across, all the way over there in Greece tonight. I know your glass of wine is waiting for you. So
In the fridge.
definitely thank you, Laura.
Thank you both for joining us today.
Yeah, definitely. And contact your travel advisor for this amazing offer right now that you guys are extending to all of us at the Montecito Village Travel family. Appreciate it.
See you all soon on board. Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye.